is a slogan of Andrew Jackson, the 7th President of the United States, who engaged the people in more democratic voting. He gave or encouraged the movement that gave people who were not able to vote the right to vote. The website is brought to you by the Modernizers. The Modernizers is an association dedicated to two things. The first is to modernize the voting system of America, to substitute for horse and buggy, go to the poll voting, or add to that type of voting, electronic voting. Electronic voting can make voting easy and convenient and quick. You do electronic voting every day with your money. Electronics, we trust electronics with our money through charge cards and the internet and telephones. If we can trust electronics with our money, we can certainly trust it with our votes. The second part of being a modernizer is that if we update the voting electronically to where we can get the results of all the votes in the country in, say, 24 hours at most, then by updating voting, we can upgrade democracy, because democracy can then be carried to a further, purer, and more profound democracy where the people will be able to vote on some big national issues. Let's look at it now. The people are not allowed to vote on important issues. They cannot vote directly. Now my and the Modernizers' proposal is that electronic voting will allow the entire nation to do direct voting on important issues. And this direct voting on important issues would be a profound improvement in American democracy. Instead of having to use sometimes corrupt, sometimes delaying politicians, we can call a vote of the people, which would be entirely possible. And then the people could make some of the big decisions. Now, we do not push the people making all decisions because they would be picayune to death. But what I'm referring to is some of the bigger issues should be voted on by the people. To vote directly on issues that affect you is one of the birthrights of democracy. And so far, America has not been able to institute direct voting on issues by the people. So we do know that electronic voting would make possible direct voting by the people on important constitutes a big issue? I would say, for one thing, money. If the people are going to have to pay the taxes, they should have some say about the taxes. If the people are going to have to pay the debt that is borrowed from other countries, or their children are going to be influenced by heavy borrowing, then the people should be able to have a say on the amount borrowed and how it is to be paid back, and who and how much is to be borrowed. Another grave issue of much concern would be war. We have had wars for something like 35 years that have never been declared by the people, that the people have had no choice in. The politicians have merely dragged them into it. Now, the point I am making is we can reduce the power of politicians. We can reduce the decisions they make by themselves without consulting the people. Now, on big issues, the people can vote and send a message to Washington on what they want. In the old days, we could not have direct voting on issues because of the size of the country, the geographical area of the country, and the impossibility, we lack the technology, of quick voting. But now the people of the country have a chance to claim their birthright of voting directly on issues. That is what this website, Let the People Rule, is all about. Letting the people rule. Andrew Jackson, 7th President of the United States, had as one of his slogans, let the people rule. They did let the people rule, partially as a result of his efforts, and democracy was furthered. This is what we are trying to do. Now, I think, and I suggest to you, that direct voting by the people on national issues through electronic voting is inevitable. It is going to happen. The way we vote now will become horse and buggy history. And the way the politicians now hog the voting will be horse and buggy history. We cannot stop, nor should we try to stop, but we should encourage modern voting that uses modern technology. And this will enable the people to vote directly and quickly. And I think by updating our voting, we can upgrade our democracy. And this is what a modernizer is all about. Modernize the methods of voting so we can make advances, modernize our democracy. Thank you.